Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, this is the button that allows me to hear myself. Hey, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. I am talking like this because I'm kind of just zipping in here and doing this show because there's lots of stuff going on this morning. And I have to be aware. I have to keep an ear out for a phone call. So in my headphones,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
the volume is really, really low, which actually you can learn a lot about how you sound when you
Mike's Daily Podcast
are doing a podcast or radio show. If you have the headphones up really loud and it is droning in your ear, you can't hear very long because you've destroyed your eardrum if you have your headphones up too loud. I once knew a guy named JD. He was an engineer and
Mike's Daily Podcast
he told me, Mike, you need to make sure that your headphones are turned down so you don't hurt
Mike's
your ears, and
Daily
your ears can actually hear
Podcast
better when the volume's down.
Yeah!
Consider that. Consider the lily. I hope I didn't offend you last show.
But if you get offended, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Because the last show I talked about fat people, and I kind of went off on that. But I want to tell you, the show has the label comedy on it. Yeah, that's up for debate. But in the comedy realm, look who just walked in. There's no such thing as safe comedy. Comedy that is safe is not funny, therefore not comedy. You have to be able to not care. You can't live in fear in your comedy. You have to be able to comedy should never be scared, is what I'm telling you. And so you shouldn't be scared of making fun of fat people, no matter how they get offended, and that's how the cookie crumbles. Look who walked in. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How you doing? Don't call me fat.
And to Disgruntled Fiddle Player tell you what? Benita is not fat. She has a beautiful body. We've been married a long time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful story. Look who else walked in.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy, have some root beer right now, or I'll kill you.
I was watching a show on the Travel Channel talking about a restaurant.
And here's today's podcast picture.
That made their own root beer, kind of like here at Cafe Anyway, only in real life. So that was really cool. Erdogan, the president in Turkey, gobble, 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 I happen to have that right. There we go. Hi, Basil. Basil barking at the turkeys. That has happened many a time. Oh, he's so tired. Remember I was telling you, my lovely lady friend took him out to run at this field, and he ran and ran and ran, and he still cannot. He'll walk. He can walk, but he doesn't want to go on a walk. He looks at me, and he hardly has ever done that to me in the past. This is a recent thing where he'll look at me and go, no. Go walk yourself, Mike. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so offensive. Go walk myself. But that's what he says. At any rate, I love that dog. And my lovely lady friend is so wonderful for walking him. Thank you so much, lovely lady friend. I want to tell you, people ask stupid questions as we get back to Erdogan. But first, I was talking to a lady who lives down the street from me, and she's like, oh, is your girlfriend moved in with you yet? What kind of a personal question is that? Or this other guy at work goes, so your roommate moved out. Are you gonna? What are you using to supplement your income? What kind of a personal, stupid question is that? Don't ask me stupid personal questions. If I don't cover it on my podcast, you can't ask me about it. Those are the rules. And you must follow them to the letter. Yeah. Can you believe that? People asked, and then Joe, this guy Joe I know from high school, great guy, but so dark, so realistic, not realistic, but too grounded in logistics, you know. Everything is a question about, oh yeah. So, you know what, actually he didn't upset me with that yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. We were having this long 1 hour discussion, and he just I don't know. I mean, I think this is the longest conversation he and I ever had. And I walked away from the conversation thinking, the dude needs to lighten up. He was going off on a guy we were both friends with, going, he never returns my messages. He never returns my calls. And really, this guy we were both talking about, nicest guy in the world. And he had some issues with this nice guy. It kind of was, I don't know. They seem to be in a... now, kids, if you're listening, this next phrase won't make any sense to you. But this is sort of like what when you see a horse do this. A pissing match. These two guys get into a pissing match, and they... Oh, in fact, Benita, your horse, Nilly. Oh, yeah! She drank a lot of water today. I can see. Oh, my. My, oh, my. Lots of water. I guess we could use this sound effect for that. If I can get to it. There we go. Alright, that'll work too. So, yeah, back to the show.
Oh, my.
Just, what the hell? Some of these questions, I swear. I mean, you can ask whatever you want. It's a free country. But, dude, I don't think I would have asked you that question. I didn't ask this lady, by the way, if she, oh, so are you married? Did you find a husband yet? Or I didn't ask this guy who asked me, well, are you broke? Are you broke-ass broke now? Do you have any, are you supplementing your income selling cannabis? Which is legal, by the way, in California. So feel free to do that. It's up to you. You can do it if you want. I can't find a good sound effect here. I'll just go with this one.
Something must be wrong with you.
So, my point being, Erdogan says boycott Apple because America apparently is the reason for all their problems in Turkey. Apparently because we put tariffs on them. Nothing to do with Erdogan not raising interest rates or any of that, as any economist will tell you. Nope. Has to do with America. We're the great Satan. We're the Nancy Pelosi of the world. Everybody puts so if you're a Republican running against a Democrat in your state, you got to put Nancy Pelosi in your ad. You've got to say, the Democrat candidate loves Nancy Pelosi. Will do anything Nancy Pelosi tells him or her to do. So vote for me instead. Nancy Pelosi's the devil. And so Nancy Pelosi has become this lightning rod. And she said, according to the new show, the new podcast, which I listened to on my way into work, she said, I'm not leaving, but I'm building a bridge to whoever that next Speaker of the House is going to be, or the leader of the Democrat Party in the House. And yeah, I'm going to help facilitate that at some point. But she is still a lightning rod. Should she step down just because the Republicans are using her to win elections and thus take that block out of the equation? Take that Jenga block? By the way, there's Jenga people in life. There's some people that are memorable, that when they disappear, we feel the hole. We feel a gaping hole. But then sometimes there are, I'm thinking Tetris is what I'm thinking. Now I don't know what I'm thinking. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. There are some people that when they leave this world, we were just kind of, they were there, and then they vanished, and we move ahead. Like a Tetris game, when that block gets filled, and then it disappears, and then you've eliminated that, and there's less blocks building up. I think that's what Tetris was. Or is it Jenga? I'm thinking of one of those block games. One's in a virtual world, one's in the real one. Aretha Franklin, though, What You Got, Baby, I Need It, What You Need. And by the way, written by Otis Redding, who died 50 years ago. Around that, his song posthumously coming out, sitting by on the dock of the bay, becoming a huge hit. But he wrote that song, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And so then, of course, Aretha added her own shoot, shoot, baby. She did all kinds of things to that song. It was her handling of it that made it a huge hit. But she, of course, you've heard by now, passed away at 76, battling cancer. Hard last couple of years for her. But she gosh, I'm not going to go into a long thing, but all the tributes I'm hearing about her don't ever bring up, they never, ever, ever bring up her hit in the 80s, Freeway of Love, which I heard on the radio constantly. All they talk about is R-E-S-P-A-C-T, which they should. Those were great songs. Think about what you're going to do. Natural Woman, Say a Little Prayer for Me, and all those other ones. But they don't ever bring up the Freeway of Love. And Who's Zooming Who? Oh, but Mike, those were terrible songs. No, they were a big part of the 80s. And that Freeway of Love was a groovin' little dance hit, my friend. Was it Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis produced that? They also produced a lot of Janet Jackson stuff. So, big song in the 80s. No one brings it up. I brought it up now. So, we're on the freeway of love in a pink Cadillac. And all that fun stuff. And Who's Zooming Who? Take another look, tell me, babe. I mean, she made a comeback. She sold millions of records with that. Was on the video that was played all over MTV. And nobody brings that up. It's sad. It's called revisionist history in the music world, and I don't like it, even though it's been, at this point, just about 24 hours since she passed. So remember that song, and remember all the other great stuff she did. And remember that duet she did with George Michael, that's right. Remember? Oh, I can't think of it. I'm thinking of the video. Like a warrior that fights and wins a battle, I know the taste of victory. Though I went through some nights consumed by the fire, I was crippled emotionally. Well, Simon Climby wrote it. Simon Climby of Climby Fisher. Simon Climby also wrote the Rod Stewart song. When the one you love's in love with someone else, don't you know it's torture? I mean, it's a living hell. That one. I knew you were waiting for me. That's what it was. I knew you were waiting. I knew you were waiting for me to find the friggin' name of that song. Thank you. Aretha Franklin sang on that with George Michael. Don't ever forget it. Don't let these revisionist news, hoity-toity Rolling Stone, pot-smoking hippies change your mind. Yes, 50 years ago, Aretha Franklin shook the world and is forever going to be the queen of soul. But don't forget those songs. And don't be dark. And don't be a Joe. Be light. Filled with light. I don't know, perhaps Joe is filled with light. He's a happy man. He's got a wonderful family. But still, don't be a down Joe. Be an up Joe. Don't be a Debbie Downer. When you bring something up, oh, I'm in love. I have a wonderful, wonderful girlfriend. She's lovely. Oh, yeah. Well, someday you'll both die. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, I have that right here. Sorry. I could have done that. That totally was what I was using, and I didn't know. All right, I gotta get back to work. Hey, thank you for listening to the show. I don't know if there's gonna be a super secret Sunday show. I don't even know if there's gonna be a Monday show. I'm hoping I get to go to Florida next week, so I'll be gone starting Wednesday. You won't hear Mike's Daily Podcast for a week and a day from next Wednesday to probably be back the following Thursday. So just be patient with me, because I got stuff to do. I gotta see Mom, and I gotta enjoy Florida. But I will... if I have the ability, I will check in back with you. Go to MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Check out today's podcast picture. I think we're going with the one with Basil the Boxer and I at the Alameda, Jack London Square, the harbor there in Alameda, across the bay from Alameda in Oakland, that area. You'll see it there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Help out the show at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com through the PayPal and the Amazon. If you buy anything on Amazon, if you do any searching through Amazon and you go through MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com first, that helps us out. And finally, you can call me with your comments about any of this fun, lightness, or darkness at 336-MM-DAILY. That's 336-MM-DAILY. Talk to you soon, hopefully.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST
MIKEs-DAILY-Podcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!